they're doing, looking at what the state of
Hey, we're doing a pop up orange podcast bad. I think this is episode 30. We'll find out. We got Kess with us. So the riots are happening not far from Kess. He lives in, I don't know, Boston. And so since he lives in Boston, he has a lot of expertise in what's going on. Oh, what's going on live on the ground with the riots in California?
So I was trying to show you in the back, but literally right now, they had. So this was happening all across Southern California, San Diego, LA. There were some major hotspots where they shut down the I-5 and Highway 101. And if you know anything about Southern California, those are two pretty major arteries that run. The I-5 pretty much runs down the middle. 101 runs near the coast. In LA, they run pretty close together, only a few miles apart. So I'm closer to LA for all intents and purposes. So this is pretty close. And I was trying to show you on the back kind of what's going on in case you guys aren't getting it, or in case you guys are getting like little clips of
Well, I'm going to tell you on the East Coast, we're not getting any of
not a
this.
thing. So this
We're
all
not.
So this all started when Friday they were doing a few ice raids, and they went to three factories, and they pulled out like 45 people, and they were in one of the factories where they were doing a raid, picking up people without papers and stuff like that, and all of a sudden it was like a Wild West scene where there was a shootout with good versus the bad guys, the OK Corral, and we have the ice guys trying to get out, and they had three vans. And I know Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, said armored vehicles going down the road. No, it was three vans, like commuter vans. And they had the three commuter vans. They finally got out to their cars and they started to take off. And then people were running along next to these people, and there was a gentleman running in front of the car backwards. I got to give this guy; he's very athletic. He ran backwards for a long time
I
at a
did
pretty
see
good
that
clip.
video. And so in this video, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do some other stuff in the background. In this video, this guy apparently finally falls back, hits his head, right? And like the internet outrage. Here's what I want to get into: the internet outrage of well, they killed him, or they gave him some sort of brain trauma, or and I'm gonna go with likely possible. But why the fuck are you running in front of a car, like running backwards, no less?
So let's get this real clear. I don't know how much they showed, but the first of all, the driver of the car was had super fast reflexes, and
Yes.
there's people that have surrounded this car, and this guy is standing in front of the car. This is how it started. He's standing in front of the car, trying to not let this car move. You've got about 12 people that are surrounding the car, and they're pelting this suburban type vehicle. I think that was the last one, with rocks, stone, like big rocks, right?
Oh my god.
Huge, and like huge pieces of ice, not like ice cubes from your drink, like ice chunks, like big pieces of ice, and they're throwing them. And this is after a little bit of a standoff. So now these guys are trying to get away. I don't care what you say. There comes a thing where it's you're in fear for your life. So you got a couple of guys with a truck full of people that they just pulled out of the facility that they were at, and they started trying to get away. So this guy's trying to slow him down. He falls. The Suburban stops. It does not run over him. It stops. The guy falls backwards. I don't know if the car nudged him. I really don't. There was no way to get that, but the driver did not run him over. and the guy did fall
No.
backwards. And like I said,
Yes.
he's very athletic. He ran backwards for about I mean, like a quarter mile. It looked like
Probably a
it,
quarter mile. Yeah.
and he fell. Well, as soon as he stopped, and then you hear people going, "Why didn't the cops get out and help?" Well, first of all, they're not those kind of cops. They're ICE. That's the first thing. And they backed up and they tried to get out of the situation. This was something out of a movie, like like when you're talking about going through Beirut and what was that Meg Ryan film, Black Hawk Down, where they're just trying to get out
Yes.
of there. That's what it looked like. There are people from everywhere just swarming these cars. So when these guys finally got away, so the guy fell down, they backed up, they moved around. People are pelting this thing with pieces of brick, and they took off. Then the riot started. And at some point, somebody called the National Guard. Pretty sure it was Trump because a bunch of people came out and said there was overreach, but it stopped for the night. And now we've got what we've got going on today. And here's Karen Bass right now, the mayor, blaming Trump for these rioters that are literally lit. Oh, what is it? A Wazo? I think it's one of those uh, self-driving cars
Oh,
that are
Waymo. Yeah, Waymo.
Waymo. So
WAMO. Waymo.
Waymo, yeah. So they had like a bunch of these that they showed on the news for a little bit, and then it not part of the narrative, so they got rid of it. But they had destroyed it, started destroying these cars. At one point in time, the car is just now incapacitated and it's on fire. There's flames coming out of the back window of this thing, and we're supposed to blame.
Are you on? Sorry, I gotta ask. Are you on your laptop or are you on your phone?
I am on my laptop. Yes, sir.
Okay, I got a clip. I want to play this clip of 3 p.m. Eastern time. 3 p.m.
Acceptable, and you can see how quickly the Trump. Okay, so they're throwing somebody just threw a bottle at law enforcement. They're throwing bottles at law enforcement. Okay, we're gonna move back. We're gonna move back. We're gonna move back. We're gonna stay at a safe distance. So what you saw there, that was law enforcement protecting themselves. That was the National Guard protecting themselves. They're firing more. Okay, so we have the flashbangs going off. Going off right now. That is because there were several protesters who threw things at the officer.
Christina, we want to make sure you stay safe. It's obviously getting more and more confrontational there. We want to make sure you stay safe, and certainly don't be breathing in that tear gas, which it appears is going to be coming at you in volumes there. Again, this is...
Pull back for now.
Yeah, please do. This is happening live in Los Angeles. Protesters who are angry that Immigrations and Customs Enforcement has been arresting and getting ready to deport people who are in this country illegally, but not just, garden variety illegal immigrants. They are going after the worst.
All right, so when we're looking at this, and this isn't even what's going on live now. This is just video we had. We were able to show you. We got a bunch of probably illegal immigrants, not from Mexico, flying Mexican flags.
Yeah.
Because they're pissed off that the Trump administration does not want to pay them anymore to be here free.
Sure. I mean, and that's literally what's going on. But that clip that you showed, that was when they brought all of those officers in. I don't know what kind of officers, but I do know that they had sheriff, highway patrol. They had everybody out at this in LA today that they possibly could from all the outlying regions. So they literally, that was a federal building. The people were getting ready to storm the federal building, and you saw where it got, where they started throwing ice bottles and big pieces of brick, everything. They started throwing them at the cops, so the cops retaliated with non-lethal force. In fact, that was one of the things that was said, was the amount of non-lethal force that was being used. You can see it, all the little foam balls. They're about that big, and they're hard foam, but they're foam. Launching them at these guys. So there's a definite something going on here, and the cops are trying not to hurt people. They're trying to use what they can to get people away. Pepper spray, it's horrible. Tear gas, it's horrible. But you can get away. And these foam balls, they're not even using the bean bags anymore. So um, it just amazes me how we're trying to put that this is all Trump's fault because they were trying to get rid of people. Now, I've been in California for all my life. I've been around. I've been detained by ICE because they come into a work site, and yes, me. I've been detained by ICE because they come into a work site and they detain everybody and they check everybody's ID. Everybody, me, a U.S. born citizen, born and raised in California. They say, "Hey, we need you to sit over here. Do you have identification? Do you have a whatever?" So I've had to show my ID because they're taking people out. And this is not uncommon. This has been happening for decades. I'm 54. I've seen it a lot of times. It, so this was just basically a routine going through getting businesses cleaned. And this is when it all started because people upset because they're not getting paid. Trump is putting pressure from the feds to say it's time to get some of these people who've already been through court out of the process. And there were 45 jobs. Now let's stop for a sec. These are 45 jobs that they're paying people not in this country to work at. So either they're paying them very low wages and they're abusing them, or they're taking jobs away from people like me or you that could be working these jobs.
Well, and that's the thing, right? And they believe the Maxine Waters of the world believe that they should be doing these jobs. Americans, and let's just call it for what it is. They don't like white males working. They don't. This is part of their. They can call it reparations for all they want, but it's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense, Cass. And you and I, we've had talks offline. We've been dealing with this for decades, actually, and sometimes we were able to have gainful jobs. And you get to a point where when you get to a Biden level, autopin level government, that you can't even find something to work. Listen, I work, but it's not meaningful. It's not good. It's not fun. And I like working. Hold on. I think we're going to bring in. We're going to bring in someone else. This is what they want. They want everyone else working, but not white middle-aged men. Is this where we're going?
That's what it looks like. It's been like, oh, speaking of immigrants that shouldn't be in this country. Oh my gosh.
How's Kess? I haven't seen you in so long, brother. What's going on?
We're fighting the fight. At the same fight Canadians would be fighting, or should be fighting. It's like we're at a point. We're watching what's going on in California, and we'll keep you up to date on that as we can. But that the middle-aged white men, holy shit! I see 3 of them right here. They're trying to.
I'm middle-aged. Thank you. All
right, you're number 1. They're trying to keep us from working because we obviously have to have Simone Biles be the only person that has a job.
Yeah, or some of these 45 immigrants that they just took. Like I said, it's either that they're paying these people wages that they shouldn't be paying them and they're abusing them, or these people that shouldn't be here are taking jobs that people should be working and could be working.
Oh yeah.
So either way, I think that they're being used as a tool. Look, I was a lineman. I worked with a lot of people. I worked with people that weren't legal, people that were my friends that didn't have papers. I don't have anything against them. We broke bread together. We had lunch. We helped each other. We worked together. And when you're a lineman, working together, maybe 35 feet up on a pole on little hooks while you're stringing wires. You get an intimate relationship with some of these people. And I've sat down and talked to these guys and go, what do you think? And this is where the news is saying like, oh, they aren't ready for this. They're being kidnapped off the street. No, I've talked to some of these guys and go, what happens if they come in and they bust you? And they go, then I won't be here. If you come in on a Monday and it's been a long weekend, either I'm hungover and I'm not coming in, or I had to go home. And this is what they tell me, and they're
Let me,
very
all
honest about
right,
it.
all right. Let me ask you this, because you've been around as long as I have,
Oh, thank you.
dinosaur. All right. So in the '90s, under Bill Clinton, when we were doing ice raids at facilities, now the facility that they're pointing out right now is Home Depot, but it could have been like when it was me in the '90s, late '90s. It was manufacturing facilities. We were actually building shit. So
So
if hold on, if uh, is there any correlation that they don't understand we used to do this under Bill Clinton, the Democrat, and all of a sudden we're going to do it again? Or are they just like, no, we should be freely allowed into the United States and allowed to get all of the benefits like SNAP, like Medicaid, like Medicare, and housing?
that's
Like,
that's just it. So I've been here in California for a long time, right? And I remember when the Democrats and the Republicans, it was a Republican-led bill when everything changed, but it was everybody in California said we should be able to deny health care to anybody if you're not legal. It was a Republican led bill, but the Republicans and the Democrats all voted for it. California voted for it. It was on the ballot. It was one of the first things that I ever got to vote for on a ballot. But it was asking the same question: do you think people should be denied health care, free health care, if they show up and they're not supposed to? Well, it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and it came back down. And when it came back down, it said no, you can't deny people health coverage, which is the right thing to do. Don't get me wrong. I think that's the right thing to do for emergency health care. But what got handed back was you can't deny people health care. And that all of a sudden, because it was a Republican led bill, was where the Republicans got the bad side. And all of a sudden, the Republicans hated all illegal people. And that's
was
when
that
the message
I can't remember. Was that under Reagan or was that under Bush?
that was when that was under Bush when it happened. That was under Bush when it happened, but it was under Clinton when it got came back down from the Supreme Court. So it was under Bush during that election cycle when it happened, and this is a California bill. So it was California Republicans and Democrats said we want this bill, and it went through, and it was under Clinton when it got repealed, and because it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and it came back, and after that, the Democrats and the Republicans were on separate sides of the illegal immigration. But it was Reagan that gave amnesty to all those illegal immigrants that were already here. So it's not like it seems that it's not that and this is where I don't understand. It's not where the Republicans hate immigration and the Republicans um, loved immigration. It was we want you to immigrate here, and it was Reagan, the big Reagan guy, who said amnesty for everybody. Let's start over. Well, amnesty doesn't work because here we are, 40 years later, 30 years later, and we're saying, hey, let's start all over again, except with
Well,
20.
isn't it always about even Reagan? Let's go back to Reagan and his amnesty. I think here's what happened with it's like you feel bad for people, and you just wanted to get like go like get a cutoff zone and go, all right, we'll let everybody who already legally came in here and is screwing us from our taxpayer dollars and taking them from us, we'll just cut it off there. It's never been cut off. And listen, I love President Reagan. The biggest mistake he made was the amnesty bill. It's the biggest mistake he's done. It was awful. You should do. And I want Trump. I want Trump to deport all of them. And you're gonna go, hey Sean, you're an asshole. And I'm gonna go, okay, I don't care. I really don't care, Edward. I don't care, Edward. Deport all of them. All of them. And I want you to deport them in the correct way with their families, with their 4-year-old and their 9-year-old. Deport all of them. You had a chance to come here legally. You chose not to do that. Now, let's get into hold on. What does it mean with amnesty? What does it mean to come to say, look, I got a problem. My country it wants to obviously unalive me. Your option is to go to the next country outside of it. So if you're in Colombia, you go to Bogota, and you request asylum. You don't request asylum to the United States. That's never been the way it was up until Otto Penn's administration, Joseph Robinette Biden. And that's always been the way it should have been. Go listen. If Mexico is your destination next to your country, then that's where you apply for asylum, right?
Yes.
We got a huge problem with everybody just going, hey, we're just going to go invade the United States. And we're watching it tonight in Los Angeles. It's going to happen more, Kess. I saw the Charlotte Observer. What an awful, god awful news rag they are. Said next Saturday, coming up, we're gonna have riots here in Charlotte. Do I live in Charlotte? No, but I live close enough to Charlotte that it's probably going to affect me.
Not a doubt.
And what are you going to do? I mean, and that's what. So we've got. I mean, I'm hearing of riots here. I'm hearing of places where riots are going to happen. Now, this isn't protesting when we're saying let's go riot. What we have here, I wish you guys could see it, but my TV screen is terrible. Here, I wish you guys could see it, but this is not protesting.
I can see some of it now.
No, that's the. I did see
Yeah,
some.
yeah.
Earlier.
No, that's a good video feed.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is literally just the news that you guys don't get. But if you look at those cop cars, I mean, and that's just some of them. There's also private businesses, those Waymos that are on fire. These are electric cars. You know what happens when an electric car catches fire?
Oh, yeah.
It just burns. It just continues to burn. And that's what we got going on right now. So I'm kind of glued to the TV right now because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But I live in the LA area, and just so you guys know, everything south of the Grapevine is either LA, San Diego, or some little tiny town that somebody heard of that's in Southern California.
Well, first, I want to be very clear. We're not doxing anybody's location. And I don't want you to dox your location. But you are at least close to the LA fires that are going on. Right? Jesus. Why have not... Listen, here's one of the things that people are pissed about on the left is, oh my God, they brought in the National Guard. Should we not bring in the Marines at this point? And I've actually got I've got a good story to tell you why not. But I would like to hear your opinions first.
I'm going to be vehemently no. I don't want the Marines here. I don't want them on my property. The Marines are not set up for civil duty. The Marines have got a job. I appreciate every single Marine out there. I love every single Marine out there. I would buy a Marine dinner if he needed it. Even if he did need it. I've bought Marines
Yeah.
or other servicemen dinner just because they were eating at a restaurant I was eating at. And that's fine. And I appreciate everything that they do, but their job is to kill and destroy. Their job is not to take care of civil actions.
Yeah.
What are they going to do when somebody throws a bottle at them? Because that's not what they're trained to do. They're trained to, I mean, they can have restraint, but unless they're just going to stand there and look pretty, once they actually have to do something, they're going to hurt people because that's what they're trained to do. That's what they're for. That's it. I love the Marines. I don't want them anywhere near my city.
Nope.
Nope.
Or
I
their
agree.
city.
Edward, you want to jump in because I'm gonna say the same
No, we were just
basic
talking
same
about.
thing.
Yeah, funny enough, we were just talking a bit about that earlier on, where you talked about the National Guard because that's more civil duty. They can maybe police things in a more appropriate way than the army or the
Even the National Guard. So here's the problem with the military doing public policing. They are not trained in policing at all. So we have a constitution here in the United States, and they don't know the basics. And this is no offense to the
No.
National Guard or the Marines or the Navy or Army, any of them. They're not trained in civil rights, which would be your first 10 amendments.
Yeah.
So like I would I'm
Not
okay
their
with
job.
them being there right now because that's what we have. I want to get to a place where we actually hire more U.S. Marshals to put down rebellions like this. This should not be coming from our military. It shouldn't. Now, do you have to use the military? I get what Trump's doing. I'm telling you, they're not trained in the first 10 amendments, which is our civil rights.
Yeah, that first video clip that you showed, that's where the National Guard need to be. And the reason I say that is because they were taking over, the civilians were going to take over that federal building. They were going to come in. Excuse me, sorry, allergies. They were going to come in, and that's what you need the National Guard there is to put them outside and stop people from coming in. You don't want them advancing. We have our police, our sheriff, our CHPs, marshals. We have those people to do that. That's what their job is. You need the National Guard to stand there in a line and say, don't let anybody pass. And that's what you need. And that's it. And I don't want the Marines on our space. There's only a very limited spot where the Marines should be, and that is wherever Air Force One is, or the Marine One is what it's called. There's Marine One, it's Air Force One and a helicopter. They are active Marines, and that's what they are trained to do. And they are very specifically trained. Those Marines are trained differently than all other Marines to do that. Other than that, standing guard at a post, that's all the Marines should be on the property for. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, that's it. The Marines have a job. That's what they're there to do. They're there to defend, and they're there to stand there. They've been trained very specifically, not in the first 10. They've been trained to do a job, and that's it. And if anybody goes near the president, you don't got no rights. And that's
Nope.
what they're there for.
I totally agree. I got one more clip. Hopefully you can see this, Kess. How do you put that down?
You know, you stand a line. That's it. And that's where you need the National Guard is to stand a line. And if the cops need to retreat, they retreat up to the National Guard. That's it. That's where you need the National Guard. You don't have the National Guard advance. You have that line, and that's what they're there for. If the police need to back up, That's fine. I've seen our police under assault today. Two people on motorcycles ran into the police line. I don't know if you guys heard about that, if you're going to hear about that, but two people on motorcycles ran into the police line to knock it over.
Wow.
And that's where we start having a problem. That's an assault. These police today are being assaulted, and they need to be punishment needs to happen to these people. Not like where Kamala before said, "Oh, it's okay, we're going to go ahead and let it go," or "I'm going to put up bail," which is one of the reasons I didn't want her running. She put up bail for stuff like this that was happening. This right here is the summer of love. It's starting over again, and that's what I don't want to see happen. And I don't want it to go that far. And I don't know if it's true. I just heard a rumor because I've been listening to a bunch of stuff that Trump is the guy that called the National Guard. Apparently, a bunch of blue governors signed a petition saying we don't want you to do that. And I sort of agree, except when Trump supposedly called the National Guard in, the problem stopped. And the governors don't want to call the National Guard in, and the problem's not stopping. This is we're getting on toward night here in Southern California, and when it gets night, a lot of the people that are protesting are going to go home. And when the people that protest go home, the people that destroy are going to be left. That's what happened during the Summer of Love.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen.
This is awfully reminiscent of that time period too. It's so identical, and yeah, you got to wonder why they don't want to get this snuffed out right away. And if it takes the National Guard, then fine, but because I don't think the police are going to cut it with the amount of people. It's just raw numbers at this point. I don't think that the number of people against the police are going to be able to do much. So I think the National Guard definitely is going to have to be an option. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the National Guard is. Go ahead, Kess. Sorry.
The people with even look, and as I say this, listen as I say this, the people with the least amount of common sense, or the most amount of common sense, however you want to take it, those people are going to go home because it's going to get dark, and the people that are left are going to be the ones. They're going to start robbing liquor stores. I mean, you watch. This is what's happening. The police will defend the federal building, and they'll defend what they can, but the police can't be in the entire city, which is what happened in the Summer of Love. Yeah. So you look at this and what's going on, and you look at what's happening. This is literally that's a police car on fire behind me, by the way.
Can you bring that back? Can you bring that back up? Obviously, we see you, but can you bring up that video?
Yeah. This is really good technology here.
Shit.
Sorry.
I know. But we're live. Holy shit.
This is live. That is literally all those people are just bombarding those cop cars that had stopped right there. The police are not in those cars.
Thank God.
Look, they're literally just throwing stuff down.
Jesus.
And then they threw something down and it was just on fire. What you saw was the fire extinguishers being pushed out. Now these cops can't go to their cars because they're going to get bombarded with stuff when those people under the bridge are going to drop stuff on them. They're stuck. So what do you do? Look, they're literally throwing explosives at it.
I gotta wonder,
happen.
Holy crap!
Kess, don't you think these are paid for protesters? I can't see it. They're not.
I would say some. Yeah. Some are just out there because they're like, let's fucking party.
Well, yeah.
Let's go riot. Let's blow shit up.
But they had to get the thought and the idea from some organized group and just became a part of it. You know what I mean? They didn't just do that on their own. So it's just too big of an organization. So it seems from what I've seen so far, I think, and there's some paid for activists that, Rockefellers, George Soros, that type of thing going on. You know what I mean?
So Edward, you weren't here earlier, but there's a guy on social media. His name's Andrew. We'll just leave it at that. And I'm thinking he should actually be brought up on charges. So around Southern California, there's different cities. And he said, these cops are going right now to go do ICE raids. So first of all, he's saying, leave. That's the first thing. But a bunch of cops stopped at a Home Depot. A bunch of ICE agents stopped at a Home Depot. And what were they going to do? They're saying, okay, guys, we're here. We're going to go in this way. You're going to go this. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And this is the routes we're going to take to come in. And they started to panic. People showed up and followed ICE. And a bunch of people are running away now because they're panicked. They're not going to Home Depot to arrest people. This is where you hear everybody talk about it. Home Depots have big parking lots. People go, and we've done meetings before with a bunch of trucks where you go and you sit there and you say, here's what we're going to do. This is our game plan. And that's what they were doing. But this guy actually caused injuries by him. I mean, it's almost yelling fire in a movie theater by saying ICE is coming and they're going to go here. And now they're headed to this Home Depot. I don't know how the guy found out the information, but they went to that Home Depot to do what they were going to do to get a game plan, and started a panic. And so a lot of this is happening organically, but a lot of this is also because of Newsom saying, we're going to fight. Trump can't stop us. We're going to protect the people of California, not citizens. He doesn't want to protect the citizens. He wants to protect the people of California, those that don't belong here. Literally, this is the guy that wants to run for president. Keep your eyes open. Hopefully we can recall him.
So his last post, Governor Newsom, says, joined LAPD HQ at, joined another at, a state of emergency in LA, respond to protests provoked by chaos from Washington. So here are his words. We are here to keep the peace, not to play into Trump's political games. This is a post from Governor Newsom on X, which I'm going to go ahead and call bullshit, but he's blaming it all on Trump, and Trump bringing in the National Guard. He's inciting violence. He is.
I think the violence of what that we've seen has already been here before anything was even spoken about the National Guard. This has been going on for how long now? Since yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, sort of. The stuff that started today. So yesterday and Friday, it got quelched. It got slowed down. The National Guard was called. It slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
Now what we have is something today where people are out protesting. They're holding signs, they're doing what they're supposed to, and then you get the agitators that come in. These are some of those paid people we were talking about. And then there's people that just want to destroy.
Well,
people are lighting Waymo cars on fire. Why are you lighting up an autonomous taxi? Why are you? They didn't do anything. It's a private company. It's not government owned. They're autonomous taxis that are electric. So they go plug in and then they drive people around to go to where you want to. I saw these things. They're smashed. They've got graffiti on them. They've got all sorts of stuff on them. And one of them was literally on fire where flames are flying out of the back of this vehicle. Why? That had nothing to do with Trump. Nothing. So this is the problem is when this happened last time, we bailed them out of jail and they moved from one city. They went to jail that night. We bailed them out. They went to another city. This is not fiction. This literally happened. And you can see some of the arrest records that were coming up at the time where you had the same guy and you'd see the same guy like in the same 3 days in a row with the same clothes. And then he got a fresh clothes in the shower because he didn't go to jail one night. And then he showed up in another city and then he was in those clothes for a couple days.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were paid. Absolutely, they were paid to do it.
Going back to 2020 again. If that's when that's.
You're right, Edward.
Oh,
2020 for sure. Absolutely. And if you look at all of this, so where does this come from? And I think this is something we were going to talk about on Yankee and the Canuck last night, and we never got into this. Is this socialism? Is it Marxism? It's not communism yet.
Not yet.
But is it not socialism?
Are you talking about just the open border policy going on there?
I'm talking about the using violence to provide to get into the style of government that you want, not understanding that the style of government you want is going to destroy your way of life.
You can vote communism in, but you have to fight to get rid of it.
Yeah, like shoot your way out to get rid of it if you have.
Literally, you have to fight. Literally, fight to get out of it. Yes,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what you walked into, Edward. That, I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically what you guys stepped into this last election, and I feel very bad for all of you guys. And I heard, I was actually talking with somebody today, and they were saying, we don't want to be the 51st state. I'm like, no, we don't want you to be the 51st state either. States get to vote. You get to be in Providence. You don't get to vote. You just get to have the benefit of us, and you do your own thing. We don't want you to be a state. We don't want you to vote because you're not.
I'm okay with them being a territory, much like
That's what we talked about. We much
like Puerto Rico.
Yeah, much better avenue than the libtards we got here. They're so brainwashed. There's no coming back from that. I don't know how you deprogram somebody. Even
Well,
with
hey, listen, we got to look at your constitution because you're clearly not an independent nation, and we've had this conversation. We got to look at your constitution, and we could probably look at some avenue where Alberta, who wants to separate and become a territory, that could happen. Because I think that's the only way this happens is a province starts to separate. Like we've got 17 territories of the United States. Are they ever going to become states? Probably not. But Alberta,
the West
it's possible. It's totally possible.
The West has always been the more conservative of all the provinces. So you know what? You're probably safer with like in Alberta, Saskatchewan, being a states because you wouldn't have to worry about all the extra.
Yes. No. Pull the TV back up if you need to.
Oh,
is shit going on?
Well, I would. Did I lose you? There you are. Sorry.
No, I gotcha. All right.
Let's see this story unfold here.
Yeah, we lost this video feed. Oh, shit, we lost him.
Well, at least we're getting caught up, in real time of what's going on down there. We don't need the EVA report tomorrow necessarily because it's all coming right
tomorrow's going to be totally nuts. We're going to do whatever we can. Hopefully we get Paul back.
Yeah.
But again, for everybody who doesn't know, Paul's just taking care of some health issues with his family, and that's where we're at, and that's all we're going to give you. I think he's coming back up. Yep, he is. All right, so we got him back. So what the fuck is Cali TV telling us?
Oh, what they're telling us is that they're literally just saying that the police are doing what they can. That they haven't been given the narrative yet.
Okay, sorry.
But I don't know.
Sorry.
So this right here, that's the 101 freeway. That's the 101 freeway that literally never stops. It's a freeway
there. I've been on the 101.
It never stops, you say.
Never the 101, that part of the 101 never stops. It's always there. I've never not seen anybody there except during COVID.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Jesus.
And but so they've got everything shut down. They shut down the freeway, and if you could see, I wish that you could see a map and actually make sense of it, because it's a system down here. But because of this part of the freeway that's been shut down, freeways are backed up all through California, literally all over.
Oh
And now
wow.
this is Sunday night. People are trying to get home. You're looking at like maybe like you're trying to come home from someplace. You're looking at like an extra 3-4 hours just to get home.
Well, and
In some cases.
I think that's what people don't understand. So, like you could look at Chicago, you could look at New York, also giant cities, right? 7-8 million people that live in Chicago, probably more in New York. But when you look at the highway system around between Long Beach and Los Angeles, there's 30 million people that probably live between those two cities. Now, the rest of the state is massive and nobody lives there. It's just rural. It's that area that has the massive amount of people that live there. And that's fine. It's totally fine. But, like, until you look at what he's showing us on his TV screen behind us, a couple of idiot protesters, 100 idiot protesters get out behind it, and they could shut down a whole highway system. Again, you got to look at it and say, wait a minute, what are we doing? Why are we allowing this? And why are they not getting arrested? Immediately thrown to the ground, cuffed, arrested, and thrown in
Paddy wagon.
jail.
Yeah.
Right?
Throw them in the paddy wagon. It'll hold 15. Drive them off. Get a few of them. Get it going.
And that's the problem, because once they leave here, they go into California politics, and depending on what you did, you may only spend a night in jail and then you'll be out the next day.
Yeah. Well,
You have to have people that are
you
going
need to change that. I mean, oh my gosh, it'd be like a merry-go-round at that point.
and that's literally what it is. And we'll see if any of these people that got arrested are out the next day. And if they're doing the same thing in another spot, then we're going to know it's just 2020 all over again. I mean,
Wow.
you guys kind of missed it. I wish I could have showed it. It wasn't fast enough. But they had cops. They had cops on. You would appreciate this, Edward. They had cops on horse, kind of like a Mountie, but a little bit different.
Mhm.
So they had a bunch of cops on horses coming at you, and somebody threw a firework at them, a little firework,
That'll
like a flag
spook 'em.
grenade. And after they did that, because the cops were moving forward, after they did that, because they threw it at the horses, that's a police officer. And after that, they opened fire on those non-lethal rounds, and they pushed the crowd back almost immediately. They
Yeah.
they were assaulted, and they assaulted the
Well,
horse.
hey, all right. Let me ask this, because I see a lot of people on the internet saying we should just open up fire, and they mean the lethal kind. I listen. I'm not there yet. What do you guys think?
Look at
I'm
me.
not for lethal.
You're
I'm
not
not for
Mr. Kess?
lethal. I'm not for lethal. I'm for tackling.
Well, yeah.
Tackle these fuckers and arrest them. I'm not for lethal.
So
You
what
know,
I was trying to show was the amount of debris that's on the freeway that people were throwing. They're going to have to literally get a construction crew like Caltrans out there. They're going to have to get a crew out there to pick all that stuff up and possibly do repairs.
Well, for everybody watching, what the fuck is Caltran? I know what it is, but what the fuck is Caltran?
Caltrans is California Transportation. They take care of the highways, byways, freeways, overpasses, major thoroughways, and stuff like that. California Transportation, but they're the ones that do the work, or they get the work out to be done. So if they don't do the work, then they contract the work out to somebody to be done. But we're looking at like this right here. Even after they do that, so if everybody went home now, this freeway cannot open. And like I said, this is a main artery through LA. This literally has got like 4 or 5 different freeways to connect to it right here in this spot.
Now, Kess, I heard from even before that that's not just the only area. There's many areas going under this, if you call it an attack, I guess. I don't know. But there's several areas going through the same type of attacks. And I don't even, I was under the understanding, Sean, that it was like half of Southern California, or I mean, South LA, I mean, South LA.
So they
You got to understand that the state of California is massive.
Oh, I know.
All right, SoCal, and then I posted something earlier on my X page, that good lord, these people, the Charlotte Observer, what an awful rag newspaper they are. They posted, they're advertising. They're like, yeah, we're gonna fucking riot next Saturday. And they're all for it. They're like, yeah, let's fucking
Of
go.
course they
Let's
are.
do it. So you're gonna start seeing this, Edward. You're gonna start seeing this all over the nation, and this is so Summer of Love. Stop. Just stop. You're all
I
being
thought,
retarded.
yeah, I
This
thought
is literally what's going to happen over this summer is going to be we hate Donald Trump so much. We're going to burn down cities. This is what's going to happen. You can see with Cass, he's got it live on his TV. We're going to see mass fire. And here's what's going to change between 2020 and now is that I think Trump's going to squash it. And then here's what's going to happen. All of the left, all of the progressives across the world are going to go, oh my God, Trump's a dictator. And I'm going to say, no, no, he's not. He is literally just squashing violence.
So I want to point this out. This thing that you just sort of saw on the screen.
Please do.
This is going to be showed, and they're not going to show what happened before because they showed these policemen on horse that had pushed down this guy, and this guy was fighting back, and then he was putting his hand up saying, "Don't hit me," and they were hitting him with a stick. But what they didn't show was right before that, people were throwing fireworks at them and at the horses, which made the horse lunge forward, almost step on this guy. Probably should have, but this guy literally
yeah.
about 45 seconds before threw a Mazel Tov cocktail at these cops. There was literally fire, and we watched it happen on the TV. I did, and it just right in front of the cops. This guy was trying to kill a cop, and what they're going to show is that they had four guys hitting this guy with a stick, like a polo, like
I
a
wonder why, with that type of activity going on, why are they releasing these guys just in like the next morning? Like they should be held at least, a week. Give them a week to cool down, something. But just the next morning and out again? Nah, that's just not right. Way too soon. There's got to be something done about that. That's retarded, So yeah, at least a week, anyways. Just in and out like that. The paperwork's not even processed, and they're out already. It's just crazy. Jeez.
look. There's a difference between showing support and saying that you don't want to do something and what's going on here. And if you don't appreciate, that's fine. But this is not. This is a riot. This is not a protest.
No,
Just
I know. Yeah, not even close. A peaceful protest, it's done. We're going back to like MLK Jr. days or something. It's a peaceful, quiet march. Well, maybe not quiet, but at least non-destructive. This is just way over the edge.
Yeah, this is like a war zone going on. It literally looks like a video game.
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah.
I mean, that's what I keep remarking about is this is literally like a video game where people are setting up barricades and you're having to fight your way through different places to push back the repelling force. This is a movie. I mean, look.
Yes, please.
I mean, these are people literally just throwing this stuff in a big pile to stop the cops from coming in. And that's because they just got pushed back, and now they're like, okay, That was on fire before. So I mean, this is literally what we're looking at. They're just trying to get these people to go home. Just go home.
Well, and that's exactly, Kess, you said it right. Go home. Just go home. But they're not going home. They're out there because they believe they're not, even if they get arrested, they're not going to get charged with anything.
No, they got out of it this time.
Right. They're just having a good time. They're having a fun. They're having a blast. All of this stuff just upsets me. It really does. Listen. I'm watching. Yes, I can see the TV behind you now. Your focus came into. It's better. I can see that, but you could bring at any point in time you can bring that back up. We'll totally fucking do that
hopefully,
live.
Sean, hopefully they get to some end of this before nighttime comes. Like,
no, it's not going to happen. So,
you don't think so?
Well, here's the motive, right? Is that we want Trump's army to stop this, so that we can say Trump army, the dictator came in and had to do this.
But
so that's the whole prohibition of what they're trying to do, is they're trying to provoke Trump and the actual army to go in and stop this. It's like these people, like, you gotta understand, Edward, these people are fucking awful. They're awful human beings.
Well,
they're totally willing, literally, to sacrifice their own bodies just because they hate. Man.
This isn't just going to be there, and like Kess said, after it gets dark, it gets worse. And it's just not going to be their own bodies. It's going to be everybody else's and property that's going to go down the drain. And this is why, hopefully somehow this gets brought under control, because I can't see it. If it hits nighttime and keeps going on, it's just going to get worse and get a lot more attention, a lot more volatile probably. I just can't see this ending well. So, oh my gosh, maybe the National Guard is going to have to come in and address this. I don't see any other way.
Well, Gavin Newsom should have called the National Guard in already. I mean, if not for anything, just to sit there and look mean, and to have the cops have backup so that they can have a place to retreat to. I mean,
where's the paddy wagons? Where's the, just throw them all in there and then take them to whatever cell you would have to process these guys. But I don't know. You just can't leave them there, though. I mean, if they're, doing all that destructive stuff and damage, I'd be tossing them in jail.
If you literally saw, there were thousands of protesters out there, and at this point, there wasn't hundreds, there was thousands. They literally
why. All right, that's why not enough paddy wagons for that number of people. So yeah,
no.
Right.
And they called police from other places. So they had local police from LA police, all of the suburbs police. They had sheriffs. They had the CHP, the California Highway Patrol. All of these people were here. They were pulling everybody in that they could. Everybody's working right now. I mean, if you're in law enforcement, you're working right now.
Right. I did hear that. I think we mentioned that before. There's just pure numbers, outnumbered. So yeah, it's not going to make a difference having a few paddy wagons roll up. You're not going to solve anything that way. It's just a replacement. It's just going to happen. So yeah. Oh wow. Unfortunate set of circumstances there.
Yeah, all we're trying to do, just go home. It's done. Go home. You showed you were pissed. Go home now.
Yeah.
But
all right, we're at an hour. We're at an hour. We got to close it.
All right.
I didn't mean to ramble on so much. Thank you.
We're gonna ramble on lots. I hope to have you guys on later.
Nice seeing you, Kess. A while.